This is a mock interview conducted by ForumIAS Academy at New Delhi. The interview panel includes eminent professors, retired bureaucrats, and other luminaries. The objective of the program is to acquaint the candidate with the format and expectations of the personality test conducted by UPSC.
May I come in, sir?
Please do come in.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Before I will tell, the sitting posture is like this. Both not crossed.
Okay, sir.
Crossed means you are feeling uncomfortable, you want to cut off the vibes.
Okay, sir.
It should be on both the laps. Separate. Bas. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You are Shubhra Panda. Are you from Odisha?
Sir, no, actually, Purba Mednapur, it is a bordering area.
Bengal.
Yes, sir, Bengal.
But Pandas are from Odisha generally. But what happens, in Odisha they are Mohantis. When they go to West Bengal, they call Mighty. When I went to West Bengal, one officer was the Jawahar Sarkar, you must have heard him. He told, these are all Odias, but they don't tell they are Odias. So, nahi, hum Odia nahi, Mighty, but they are Mohantis. So, basically from Odisha.
No, sir, I am from West Bengal.
West Bengal.
Yes.
Achha, okay. Tell me about yourself.
My name is Shubhra Panda. I was born and brought up in Delhi. I did my graduation in philosophy honors from Indraprastha College for Women, Delhi University. I graduated in 2019 and since then I have been preparing for civil services.
This is your fourth attempt?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been to interview before this?
No, sir, this was my first mains and first interview.
Philosophy.
Yes, sir.
Achha, tell me, just for heck of it, I thought you were from Odisha. Suppose you are the Secretary Tourism, maybe for West Bengal, maybe for Odisha. Which are the tourist spots you would like to show to the people?
Sir, in the area from where I am from, Purba Mednapur, there are very famous beaches in Mandarmani resorts. I would like to promote that place.
Digha, you mean?
Yes, sir. Digha.
I was there and as an observer. Tell me.
So these are some that area I would like to promote. And so actually I was born and brought up in Delhi, so I have very little knowledge about that place.
Okay. Suppose somebody comes to Delhi.
Yes.
Which are the places you will show him?
So first off, I will start with the historical places, the UNESCO sites. For example, Lal Killa and Qutub Minar. These are the areas. Other than that, I would also take them to 𝐏𝐻𝐻 and some places which are known for good party areas and good nightlife.
Have you seen the light and sound of Lal Killa?
Yes, sir.
What rectification or improvement you should be there?
So I actually saw it when I was very young. So I thought it could be a little bit more engaging because there were just a few people who were talking and there were light. But I think some visual representation, at least some of it, could make it a little bit more engaging.
They reflect the pathos of Indian history, more prominent about Nadir Shah's attack. They could have eulogized the Indian history. Anyway, now coming. Suppose you are the Secretary Delhi Tourism. You are made, or Odisha Tourism. You are to make both Odisha and Delhi. Just say, because before bifurcation, Mednapur is adjacent to Odisha. What slogan you will make?
Slogan?
For Odisha and for Delhi. Catchy slogans they make, like they have made Incredible India.
Yes.
For Indian tourism. So what you will do?
Sir, can I make it in Bengali words?
Okay, tell me in Bengali. I understand that.
Like Esho More Pradesh, something like that.
It should always highlight the heritage. The living heritage that is Delhi. Or in Odisha, you can make like this, where the divinity and the mundanity they mingle together on the streets of world. So always the slogans, when you become this thing, it should be a little catchy. Now tell me, the present position in West Bengal, how conducive it is for the election?
Sir, the present position projects some challenges, specifically with respect to how the political things are playing out. For example, in Sandesh Khali, there are problems with respect to law and order, and for free and fair election, there must be a perfect balance between law and order, and also there should be space enough to project opposition ideas and everything, so that the people feel safe to form an opinion and also vote in that respect.
Do you support the sending of paramilitary forces and defense forces for having a free and fair election there?
So I would say that law and order is important, but it is also important to maintain the federal structure. So as long as there are cooperation between the center and the West Bengal government, and they both agree on participation of paramilitary force to safeguard the law and order, I think it is very much possible and it should be done so.
There is a difference of opinion in that regard, you know that. One thing I'll tell you, I was an observer in West Bengal, Midnapur districts. You know Jhargram, the worst possible Naxalite and I was there. Naren Hansraj used to be elected from that. When I generally as an observer, when you go to the place to see whether the village have got water and this thing, there was a scout officer from West Bengal cadre. West Bengal, not cadre, West Bengal Civil Services, WAS. So he was there. When I went, I called people that what are your problems? Nobody came. So I told that either too much of development work is being done, so nobody is bothered, or nothing is being done. What's your take on this?
Sir, I think there was some kind of fear which stopped the people from coming out, and that is very problematic, because in a democratic society, it is very important for people to come out and raise their voices, be it regarding development, that if they have experienced it or if there is a lack of it. So this situation is very worrying, I would say.
My point is, the typical answer of the West Bengal Administrative Service officer, sir, how long will you stay here? I told 10 days. Sir, on 11th day they will be murdered if they come and do this. Anyway, that is the position. Now I asked Ravish to take over.
Hello, Shubhra.
Yes.
So there has been a constant tussle between the government of Delhi and the union government. And one solution that is also proposed is probably give full statehood to Delhi. So what is your take on this? Should Delhi be given full statehood?
So I would not say that Delhi should be given full statehood because of its peculiar position. It is not just a state or union territory. It is also the national capital territory of India. And because of it, it becomes very much important for both domestic and international reasons. And other than that, there are very many critical infrastructure in Delhi. For example, the judiciary, parliament, embassies, and their protection, the law, maintenance of law and order, and the flow of money, which is very important to protect them, that I think could not be possible if full statehood is given. So this is my take.
Sure. So one constant point of contention was control of services. Who controls the services in Delhi? So what was the Supreme Court judgment on that?
Sir, Supreme Court initially said that the services should be under the elected government, but later on a new law was passed, GNCTD Act, which gave the power ultimately to the Lieutenant Governor, because there was committee, but still the main who would be the decider, that came to Lieutenant Governor.
Okay. And do you think that Parliament has the ability to overrule the judgment of the Supreme Court?
So as long as the fundamental rights are not infringed, basically with respect to the proportionality test and the necessity test, So Parliament has the power to overrule laws, because at last Parliament is the main authority, a main lawmaking authority for India.
So what about some, like we have basic structure doctrine. So what if Supreme Court adjudicate something and the union government or the parliament, they overrule that judgment through, amendment to the constitution. So how would you distinguish the two? In this case, they were able to do that, but in certain other cases, basic structure, they weren't able to, they won't be able to do that.
So basic structure is sacrosanct, and also it is continuously taking new meanings. And
But don't you think like basic structure was, it is not explicitly mentioned in the constitution, it's just what Supreme Court has adjudged. So tomorrow what they can do is they can put basically everything in the basic structure. Now they can say that this judgment in case of Delhi services that we gave, it is part of the basic structure. Don't you think then in that case they'll encroach on the, the domain of the parliament?
So basic structure was introduced to protect the constitutionality of the constitution itself, to maintain the inner structure that was envisioned. So I think judiciary has to show some restraint while deciding upon if something is off basic structure and not. And simultaneously, the policy makers, the lawmakers, they also have to understand their bounds, their duties towards the constitution and the people of India. So this is how they have to work. They have to collaborate. One cannot overstep the boundary of others.
Okay. There is a debate going on, one nation, one election, and the COVID panel report, they have given their report. What are the amendments have they suggested?
Sir, regarding it, there were some suggested amendments, like the duration of some of these states, those could be reduced. So I have not read it very well.
They have suggested amendments in case of local government,
yes,
because they have also said that that can also be clubbed in a single. But they haven't suggested any amendment when it comes to synchronizing the union and parliament and state assembly elections. Don't you think that an amendment would be necessary, because Constitution explicitly says that the 5-year and the elections have to be conducted within a specific period of time? How can you bypass that criteria without amendment?
So I think amendment is necessary because.
But the panel has suggested there is no amendment required.
Yes, there are suggestions that there is no amendment required. But I think the states and center can work it out among themselves also, because it would be a one-time measure, or in some few times they have to make adjustment. So without amendment, I think that could also be done.
And do you think that there is a valid ground of questioning this suggestion in the court of, before the Supreme Court, that this is violation of federalism?
So this
federalism, they have said it's a basic structure, right?
Yes, sir. So I think, sir, this could be a valid reason, because many of the states which do not have the same party which is ruling at the center, they are mainly contesting this idea. They are seeing it as an encroachment upon their jurisdiction. So I think the main thing which has to be done is to build consensus among all the parties to show that this is not concerning just one party.
Okay, in your opinion, does it violate principles of federalism?
So I think if it is just a one-time exercise and done with the consensus of all, then it would not.
No, but it will be once they are synchronized and the system is maintained.
Yes, sir.
In the long term. It's not a one-time exercise. All the elections, subsequent elections will be conducted together. So do you think that it violates federalism?
So I don't think so, because it would bring very much benefits, and also it would show that India is transitioning towards a very mature democracy, and it would bring benefits with terms to governance and financial prudence. So I think that would be very, very much outweigh some problems that we have.
Even in the US, they have kind of system like that only. So even they are much more federal than us. So if they can have that, we certainly can have that. Okay, thank you, Shubhra.
Thanks.
That's all from us.
Shubhra.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shubhra, you are a student of philosophy.
Yes.
And you have graduated in it also.
Yes.
Okay. So Shubhra, can you tell us what is the basic philosophy of our foreign policy?
So I think the underlying policy is pragmatism, seeing what is the condition of India with respect to the population, the condition of how poverty, there is incidence of poverty, and what are our strategic interests with respect to protection of our sovereignty, and at the same time keeping in mind the development of our people. So in that case, India has maintained a very pragmatic solution wherein it decides and adjudicates on case-by-case basis, in spite of going with the flow. So this is a pragmatic policy, I would say, is at the basis.
Okay. National interest.
Yes, sir, national interest.
Okay. Good. And you are from Delhi,
Yes, sir.
right? Tell me, in Delhi, every year we have this problem of pollution, right? And it takes almost 3 to 4 months for it to be resolved. What are the components of this issue? I mean, what are the components that cause pollution mainly? Let's say if you have to identify 4 major components, what are those?
So first major component would be the peculiar geography of Delhi, because of which the polluted air cannot pass the area. There is also low level inversion of the air. Second would be the large amount of smoke which is coming because of the northwestern winds from the Punjab area, the whole airshed region. Third would be large number of vehicles which are also contributing towards the pollution. And fourth would be how the during winters, that it happens all during winters. So many people are engaged in biomass burning, burning of the waste in the outside. So I think all of these cumulatively give rise to this pollution problem.
Okay. There is a place called as Purana Killa
Yes.
in Delhi. Why is it important from the historical perspective?
So Purana Killa was majorly the site of Sher Shah Suri, if I'm not mistaken. So it was very important because from there Sher Shah Suri laid grounds for civil administration. The rupee which we see now, that was also part of his plan, and also the Grand Trunk Road passes through that area. So I think those which contributed even today, which are contributing even today to our governance and the traffic, so that becomes very important with respect to that.
Okay. What is the importance of Second Battle of Panipat in Indian history?
So, can you just enlighten me what happened, because I did not refresh it. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry.
Do you remember between whom the Second Battle of Panipat
That is what I forgot.
Okay.
I think it was Nadir Shah and the Marathas.
No.
I'm so sorry, I forgot it.
It was
Yes, sir.
it was fought between Akbar and Hemu. Right? Have you heard of that battle?
Yes, sir. I have heard of it.
Okay. Tell me how things would have been different if the result had been reversed of that battle. How would the course of history in India would have changed?
So I would answer this question based on what the policies Akbar basically put forth. For example, how Agra and Delhi, Agra basically came into cultural prominence. There were talks about Sulh-e-Kul and all those things where many religion leaders, they also came. So that would not have been done. The course would have taken, it would have taken some different course. And also how Agra came into prominence with respect to Fatehpur Sikri, the capital and all those things, that would not have been done. So the tourism would have shifted to some other place instead of that area.
Okay. Recently a movie has released on the life of Veer Savarkar. Okay. Tell me something about him.
Veer Savarkar.
Yes.
So Veer Savarkar was a renowned freedom fighter. He spearheaded Mitra Mela. It was one of the radical association which talked about independence of India. And he was a devout patriot, and he served in jail jail time he served jail time as well, and he spearheaded the ideology which now is proposed by the dominant government.
Acha, okay. In philosophy, you must have studied about Vedant,
Yes, sir.
right? So, what is the importance of Vedant in everyday life?
So Vedant basically emphasizes on unity among us all. And in everyday life, we see that there are very many inequalities, be it between the rich and the poor, the haves or have not, or something else. But at the end, we must remember that we are all equal and we have to treat other people similar position. So Vedant is a reminder of how one should act in their day-to-day life. This is what I feel.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Now, Shubhra,
Yes, ma'am.
you've done your college from Indraprasth College for Women.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what is the significance of this Indraprastha?
Ma'am, Indraprastha, the name basically came from the school which was earlier there, Indraprastha school, and its location was near to the Old Delhi.
Okay.
And Old Delhi was also the area of Indraprastha, the ancient town of Indraprastha. So from there.
Can you tell me the significance, the relevance of the old town of Indraprastha? Where do we find its mention?
Ma'am, we find its mention in Mahabharata.
Okay.
There are talks about Indraprastha, where the Pandavas with Draupadi, they came and set up a new town. So this is one of the mentions.
So, there was a demand for 5 villages, including Indraprastha. What were the other villages?
Sorry, ma'am, I don't remember.
Okay. Can you tell me, Delhi is also said to be a combination of 7 ancient cities,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
7 older cities. So, what are these?
Ma'am, first was Mehroli, where the Tomar Rajputs and then Chauhans came. Second was Siri Fort with Alauddin Khilji. Third was a little northern to that area. Sorry, ma'am, I forgot the.
Okay. Now, can you also tell me that the retirement age in India, what is it?
It is around 60.
Roughly 60 years.
60 years. Ma'am.
Now, but we also say that our demographic dividend is aging. So, should the retirement age be revised, and what can be done about this?
Ma'am, for now, I think there is no need to revise the retirement age because our population is still very young. The age is around 29, the median age. So, at present, it is not required, I think, but in the future, there can be mullings over it. And specifically with respect to some of the professions, for example, in judiciary.
However, our population may be young, but even when we retire at 60, the people who are retiring, they have the energy, they have the experience, the willpower to work. So, should not the retirement age be changed?
I think there are other ways how we can encourage the participation of old population. And for that matter, I think retirement should not be seen as one yardstick. That other things could be seen.
Okay. You've written your hobby is yogasana and meditation.
Yes, ma'am.
So, isn't meditation a part of yogasanas?
Yes, ma'am. It is It is the fifth, I think, the fifth in terms of the eightfold path which Patanjali Sutra talked about.
Okay. So, what are the other 8?
There are yam, niyam, asan, pratyahar, then dhyan, samadhi.
Now, when we talk about yoga on the global scale, yoga is becoming famous. It just talks about the physical exercise, only the asanas. So, how far have we been able to? How far are we successful in communicating what yoga actually stands for?
Ma'am, I think because the exercises are the things which connects most of the world, be it gymnasium, be it through gym or something else. So yogasana became the first obvious choice how we can promote yoga, but India has done much. For example, the 21st of June, it is now recognized as International Yoga Day. And other than that, recently there are news that how Bhutan and India are engaging in establishing Gelepu area.
I'll rephrase my question. I'm saying that yoga has become world famous, but the world knows yoga only as physical exercise. So is that right for us as a country? Because yoga is more than just physical workout, just the asanas.
Ma'am, I think this is the first step how yoga is being popularized, and more steps are needed, and they would be
Can you
taken.
suggest few?
Ma'am, for example, the recent stating of the meditation center, this is one of the ways. And other than that, I think training courses in India for yoga practitioners who would go outside and preach it, and inculcating all of the forms and not just restricting to the asanas. I think that would be one way.
Can you tell me what are the pillars of Green Revolution?
Green Revolution. Okay. Ma'am, from my certification, right?
India has a Green Revolution?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the pillars?
Ma'am, the earlier Green Revolution or the second Green Revolution? I'm sorry if I'm asking wrong.
Tell me for both.
Okay. Ma'am, first was the increase in productivity that was emphasized upon. And sorry, I cannot answer it rightly. Right.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
You make a thorough study on philosophy. They may ask which philosopher you like and why. Indian philosopher, anybody, or the Western philosophers, one question. Second is the current things are going on, like he asked one election, one these things, other things. You go with thorough preparation. No, these things, because that means you are still not prepared. Then you look here and there. No. That is a confused state you are in. No, you are not supposed to know everything, because they can ask anything.
थोड़ा सा casual terms you should avoid.
Okay, sir.
ठीक है. Rest you are doing well. Your personality is very good. You should revise and just focus on current affairs. Okay.
Okay.
All the best.